Hello, everybody. It's been a long time since we've done any interviews. I said let's start this whiteboard session again. So welcome to yet another whiteboard session. This is the Nakshatra Gurukul. The Nakshatra Gurukul is a refreshing, thought-provoking series of interviews that I do with researchers, scholars, and students of nakshatras, who come here and present their original findings and teach us new ways of understanding the divine secrets of lunar mansions. So we have our astronomer, Dr. Aditya Togi, back with us today. And we're going to discuss about a very, very, very interesting topic. And this is very close to my heart because this is something that I've been researching for a couple of months, but he has actually broke the code. And I said, let's do an interview. So he's going to talk about nakshatras and yogataras, and he's going to introduce a unique way of a method of understanding yogataras and also exaltation of grahas and of planets. So welcome, Aditya. Welcome to Dr. Arjun by Astrology. This is great to have you back again.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Pai, for again coming to your channel. It's always a pleasure talking about research in astrology and connection with astronomy. And thanks for invitation. And as you said, this is a very interesting topic because it's close to my favorite topic of astronomy. So definitely, thanks again for the golden opportunity. And what I can do, I can share my screen. I think is the screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And do let me know if any questions come.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So I think everything so far so good. Okay. So today I will talk about nakshatras and yogataras. This is what we always hear about yogataras and what is yogatara, what is the speciality of yogataras, how can we understood some of the astrological concepts using yogataras. So that's maybe I will give just a gist of what it is and explain some of the key astrological concepts. So here I want to focus attention to our viewers that today we will be explaining about yogataras and its connection to the planet's exaltation point. So first, let me talk about what is a yogatara. Now, yogatara is a star which is like the main primary star of that nakshatra or of that constellation. For example, now here is an example of a Taurus constellation, and there is a star called Rohini. It's a prominent star, and this is the Taurus constellation. And the prominent star, you can see the brightest star is the Rohini. So generally, yogataras are like the brightest stars in the constellation or in the nakshatra or in the rashi. If you go to another constellation, say Scorpius constellation, the yogatara is the Antares comes to be the brightest star in the Scorpio constellation. And in this constellation, which is the Scorpius constellation, the brightest star, if I show this, you will definitely say this is the brightest star, and that is nothing but our Antares, which is also called as Jyeshtha Nakshatra. This one. I think everyone can see. I think you can see my cursor, correct?
Yes, exactly. And tell me one thing, Aditya. I know when you talked about Aldebaran, right?
Correct.
I've read somewhere that the Aldebaran is connected to the eye of the Taurus bull, the bull.
Correct. Yes.
So it's a very bright reddish star, and
correct.
It is associated with the eyes.
Correct.
So it's very interesting to see, and it will be interesting to see also because of his association with the eye of the bull, maybe Rohini Nakshatra's natives could have something very significant with the eyes.
Exactly.
Attractive eyes or something, something very, somebody can observe their eyes very keenly. So that maybe is what the yogatara is giving. Yogataras, I believe, are fixed stars, isn't it? This is a Western concept called fixed stars. So maybe yogataras is something that can bring in certain qualities or characteristics, enhance attributes of those people.
Exactly. as you said, when you assume the Taurus constellation, when people this was the constellation, these are the main stars of the Taurus. When they assume that this is as a bull shape, and they assume the bull, this was the face of the bull, and this was the eye where the Rohini star falls. So the Rohini star falls exactly on the eyeball of the bull. So if that's why Rohini, as you said, can be associated with organ eye or something. And Rohini is also the second in the Taurus. So the Taurus is face. And the prominent organ on the face, I will say, is the eye. Eye can tell so many things. You can predict even the person's character and all by looking at their eyes. So eye is really a prominent thing on face. Similarly, if you see like Scorpius, Jyeshtha, it's in the middle of the body. Especially another example is I would like to give is Purva Falguni. Purva Falguni, when you assume it's a Leo shape, lion shape, and the two stars of Purva Falguni, that is Delta Leonis, and I forget the other name, other name of the other.
Zosma and Cheriton, I think.
Yeah, I think Zosma is Delta Leonis. Yeah, Zosma is Delta Leonis.
And Cheriton, I guess, if I remember, yes. If I vaguely remember.
Exactly. So that they show the back region of the lion, back region, and the sexual regions of that. And we definitely know like Purva Falguni is associated with all those organs. So Yogatara, that's a whole different study of how to associate Yogataras with the body organs. And then we can get, maybe sometimes later I can do a whole different set of 1 hour video on Yogataras connected to the body parts. But yeah, so there are different applications of Yogataras. So that's why Yogatara is very important to study. And that's why the need to know why to study Yogatara. It can give you so many, you will come to know at the end of the talk, like how can it explain some of the key concepts, how can it explain some of the body parts, and so on and so forth.
Beautiful. So definitely. Beautiful, Aditya, because I wanted to draw the attention of people that just don't think that Yogatara is. So there are so many applications of Yogatara. I'm glad that you're bringing this up with the association, and maybe we can do another interview on Yogataras and the body parts. Beautiful.
True. Now I have another example of Orion Nebula. Now, as we know, this is the Orion Nebula, Orion constellation. And then this Yogatara, this star is Betelgeuse, which definitely comes in Ardra. So here I want to tell that sometimes it's easy to fix a Yogatara. Like Aldebaran, we know that's 1 star we can do. Antares is just 1 star. Spica, Chitra Nakshatra is just 1 star. Arcturus, which we say for Swati, is just 1 star. But there can be some problems in some nakshatras. For example, like Shatabhisha, it's like 100 stars. Which stars to take? We don't know. For example, Orion is like, now this star is Betelgeuse, which is definitely Ardra. But if you want to fix Yogatara from Mrigashira, what to take? Which star you will take? You will take these belt stars, which are like center, or you will take these side stars. Will you take Rigel? This is the Rigel, which is the next brightest star in the Orion constellation after Betelgeuse. This is the Rigel star. Will you take that? Or will you take Orion Nebula? Because Orion has got a very special thing in its association is Orion Nebula. And whenever I say nebula is a place where stars are born, stars are formed, stars grow. And if you take the concept of the theme of Mrigashira, it's like to grow, to create. So what to grow? Stars to grow. Stars grow there. Stars are being born there. So you can see the theme of the nakshatra with objects associated with it. And if you say that this is like Orion Nebula, like a woman, this is like the womb, or this is like the where the child is born. Like I just assume that if you consider this as a woman, this is where the child is born. It's just, see, that's why Yogataras is I associate it with the body parts. So things like grow, create. Orion Nebula is where, because babies are born, and stars are nothing but babies of the universe, I will say. So which Yogatara to take? Should I take Orion Nebula? Should I take Rigel? So in some parts I have taken both, like Orion Nebula and Rigel both. But I feel that for Mrigashira, it is like I should take Orion Nebula because it fits well with the theme of the nakshatra. but also I've done for Rigel, because which is the next brightest star. So for some cases, Yogatara will be very simple to fix, but for some cases we have Yogataras can be a little bit problem to exactly fix. But this is like, few degrees may be difference, not much, but few degrees will be different. And there are like text of Surya Siddhanta and other texts which gives a list of Yogataras. Different books have got different meaning. But generally for my study, what I have taken is mostly the brightest star of that constellation. And especially in Orion, when you have the Orion Nebula, I can't deny the Orion Nebula with the brightest star, because the concept of the nakshatra, everything has to be taken into consideration. The theme of the nakshatra, what it is, which will give you a much clearer picture. And we will see, like, I may have the difference between the Orion Nebula and how much degrees and how much days. We'll come to it when we talk about the degrees and all. And now what I will, after explaining something about Yogatara, I will give a brief description of the mathematical description, which some of them maybe not be that much interested, but I always feel that it's always better to give an overall description, because see, no theory is correct, no theory is right, or no theory is wrong, or no theory is right. It all depends upon what you assume, what is your method, and things may change here and the result may change here and there. You cannot say that this result is correct, this result is wrong, because the method which you apply can give different results. So it's always better to explain the method with what I do, and then this is after doing, I get these results, and then it's up to the people how they interpret and all. Maybe tomorrow someone else can come with a different method. They can come up with a different Yogatara with a different degree. But if you go with this method and these things, so it's always better to lay all the assumptions and all the things which you have assumed in your method and then give your result. So that's why I would like to give some description of the method which I have employed, which I have used to calculate, and then we will talk about the result, and then I will talk about the applications of what our work is in trying to fix your exaltation points for Rahu and Ketu, which is much debated in the astrology community. Okay, so talking about that, we talk about zodiacal belt, like the whole sky is divided into 88 constellations. The sky is divided into a total number of 88 constellations by the International Astronomical Union. And there are 12 constellations which are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, then comes Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. They form a very special constellation because the sun passes through that constellation in one whole year. Now, when I say sun, it's basically the earth passes, because sun is stationary and the earth is going around. So here in this example, I'm showing that earth is at this position, the sun is at the center. So when you look from earth, the sun will look in the background of these stars. Now, if anyone knows the pattern of constellation, this constellation is nothing but Pisces. This is around Pisces, and somewhere around, it's around Pisces, definitely around Pisces and Aquarius border. Now, if suppose the earth moves here at this point, and if you're observing the sun, so earth is at this point, you observe the sun will look in the background of these stars. Now, if anyone knows, this constellation is your Orion. This is your Mrigashira constellation. So that's how when the earth moves, you will see the sun in the background of different constellations. And in one whole period, there are 12 constellations. That's why we call that sun goes around these 12 constellations. And these 12 constellations out of that 88 has got a special name called as zodiacal constellations or zodiacal belt. And the line through which the sun passes through is got a special name called as the ecliptic. So ecliptic is like the midway between the zodiacal belt. And all the planets is like they don't go much deviate from this ecliptic. It's like few degrees, but not much. It's like they just follow this path. It's not like much away from this ecliptic. It's around this ecliptic that all the planets you will see. So that's why this 12 constellation became very important. and it was called as the zodiacal belt. So far, so good?
Yes, yes, Aditya, this is brilliant. So totally, there are about how many? 88 constellations in the
Yeah,
in the sky,
correct.
and
Correct.
we only consider 12 of them because that's
Correct.
how the sun. That is the trajectory of the sun or the path of
Correct.
the sun. Okay, makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah, because there is like, Saptarishi Mandal, that is also a constellation,
Right,
which is the Saptarishi Mandal, Great Bear constellation, but that is far north.
right,
Actually, the sun doesn't pass through Saptarishi. The planets doesn't go through Saptarishi. That's why Saptarishi constellation is not in the zodiacal belt. It is way far north.
right. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. And there are many other constellations too.
Right. Okay.
Now, this picture will explaining about some of the key concepts. Now, we have Earth, and we know on Earth there is an equator. And what we do generally in astronomy, we fix all the stars on a sphere. Forget about the distance because that's a 3D. We want to fix everything in a 2D, two-dimensional. So we imagine that all the stars, whatever if you see in the night sky, is projected onto a sphere. Forget about the distance, like a third dimension, the radius, the distance from us, but all the stars are on the sphere. Now, there is on Earth, we have North Pole, we have South Pole, we have celestial equator. So if you extend the North Pole to the celestial sphere, so this is a celestial sphere, the bigger one, which is called, it's written here, celestial sphere. And if we extend the North Pole, it will hit the one point, which is called the North Celestial Pole. And if we hit with the other point, will hit the south pole of the Earth. If you extend it, and it will hit the celestial sphere at some point, it is called South Celestial Pole. And the equator of Earth, if you project that equator of Earth on the celestial sphere, that is called a celestial equator. So equator is called celestial equator. North Pole, when you extend it to the celestial sphere, it's called North Celestial Pole. When you extend South Pole to the celestial sphere, that point is called South Celestial Pole. So what we have done, similarly, we have Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere on Earth. We have divided the northern part of celestial sphere, and then the southern part is this part, the southern part of celestial sphere. Now, the ecliptic is not like along the plane of the celestial equator, celestial equator plane. It forms an angle, and that angle is, this is the ecliptic here, the black one. You can see the sun and the earth. So that plane makes an angle with this celestial equator, and that angle is 23.5 because the earth axis is tilted to 23.5, as we know. So that's why this angle is 23.5 degree. So what happens when it is tilted? The two planes are tilted. That means the two planes will intersect at 2 points. One point, so that point we define as vernal equinox, and the other point we define as autumnal equinox. Now, this is what the sun moves. Like if you of course, now we always take Earth is moving, but an astrological sun is moving. Sorry for that. And the point where the apparent motion is towards the north, because this is, as I said, this is all northern part. So if it goes here at these 2 points, vernal equinox and autumnal equinox, this occurs when the sun is on 21st March and 22nd September. So that's why it's an equinoctial point. So this point is where when you look from Earth to sun on 21st of March, you will see sun in the background of this point. So that's why it's an equinoctial day. And after that, what will happen? You will start seeing the sun at starting little bit drifting towards like north. It still drifts, it drifts, and it will reach its northernmost point at this point, where we know it is the solstice, summer solstice, which happens on June 21. So it's like March 21, 3 months, June 21, then Dakshinayan will start, because now the path is, because this, as I said, this is whole is northern part. So now after it is reaching its maximum north, it will go to the south part. So it goes to the south. That's why we call Dakshinayan, because it's the motion of south, Dakshin, south. And that's why Dakshinayan, so south. And after 3 months, it will land to the midpoint, like it will intersect that point, that is the 21st or 22nd September, which is again autumnal equinox, but still it will move south. It will further go below this celestial equator plane, and it will go south, south, south. And on 22nd December, it will be the winter solstice, which is the southernmost point. And here it will be reaching the southernmost. And then again, Uttarayan will start, and it will go further north. So that's the pattern it goes. So right now we have, and that's why. So declination, whenever I say declination, is telling you, because since on Earth we need two coordinates to specify a point, latitude and longitude. Similarly, on the celestial sphere, latitude, what we call on Earth, is called as a declination. So as latitude goes from plus 90, 0 at the equator, and minus 90 at the south pole, declination also goes plus 90 at north celestial pole. When it comes to equator, it is 0, and when it goes to south celestial pole, it is minus 90. So declination is same as latitude. And the longitude, which we say it's 0 to 360 degree, which is also sometimes we call minus 180 to plus 180, depending upon 0 degrees, the Greenwich. Here, it's called a right ascension. That longitude is called as right ascension on celestial sphere. It's again 0 to 360 degree. Generally, we write in terms of 24 hours, basically. We calculate, it's same as 360 degree. It's like the clock, correct? The whole is like 24 hours. So here it's like 0 hour. It's like 6 hours. Here it's 12. So you can convert into degrees and then try to say that if 360 degrees 24 hours, then whatever degrees you get is how many hours. But you should have this is the reference point. This is the reference point. So that's why right ascension is same as longitude. Declination is same as latitude. And that's why, because Earth precesses, correct? We say that Earth precession happens. That's why the vernal equinox shifts. And that's the whole thing of tropical and sidereal astrology comes into the picture. Because this point shifts, because this is the first point of Aries. If this point shifts, reference point shifts. And then we have to redefine again. So, and then that's the difference between tropical and sidereal and all those, which I will not go much into that. But that's what happens. And this precision, so the vernal equinox takes exactly around 26,000 years to go around this whole celestial equator. So right now it is here. After that, it will shift to some other point, and after that, it will shift to some other point. So it will go continuously shift, and to cover 360 degrees, it takes about 25,000 or 26,000 years.
So that is roughly about 1 degree for every 72 years?
Yes, that's exactly 1 degree every 72 years.
72 years, it will shift. It will shift.
Yes, it will just shift 1 degree. So that's why in annual horoscopy and all, they say you have to take whatever you are born on that sun degree. By when you are 72 years, it would have shifted by 1 degree.
1 degree.
So say if your sun is, say you're born on say 20 degree of Taurus, after 72 years, that 20 degree would have become 19 degree of Taurus in sidereal part. It would have shifted by, because it goes behind, correct? And it's like maximum. I think no one will live for, say, if you say a person lives for 144 years, then the shift is only 2 degrees. So definitely a person doesn't, I think these days we say on an average we live for 72 years. So the shift is only 1 degree. So that correction you have to take in annual horoscopy and all those things.
Now, Aditya, tell me one thing. Is this north celestial pole equated to our Dhruva Tara, the fixed star, the north pole star?
Yes, a good point. Yeah, thanks, Dr. Pai. Here is the pole star. The pole star, see, the pole star is, it's a wrong misconception that we say pole star is a star. Pole star is not it's not it's not a proper noun. It's a common noun, in fact. Pole star can change. Now, at present, our north celestial axis is hitting one particular star, and that star we call as pole star. And as I said, it precesses. So maybe after a few thousands of years, it may hit to another star. So that star will become the pole star. So the word pole star is a common noun. It is given to, like, it's not a particular star name. The axis at which the north celestial pole points, that is called as pole star.
Right. Okay.
Thuban was a pole star, or I don't remember. Thuban will be a pole star or was a pole star. Was like the pole star changes always. Right now, the star Polaris is the pole star.
Right.
So the star name is Polaris, but remember that Polaris is also not exactly pointed. It is 1 degree away from the North Celestial Pole. Not exactly pointing. We think that it is pointing, but if you track it, it's not exactly, because see, when the North Celestial, when the Earth rotates, and when the star is exactly at this point, it should not move. But when you really take an image, you see the pole star is also moving slightly, 1 degree, not much, but still, it is not exactly pointing.
Now,
And we are lucky that we have a star actually at that pole star, which we can help to align our telescopes and all. It may be possible that it may be pointing to a region where there may not be any star. It can be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you have.
But how many years would that the precision change of the pole star by a degree?
It's the same, because it's same 360 degrees, right? So it takes like 25,800 or 26,000 years for one precision, for one complete 360 degree. So in that you may have, I think there are 4 or 5 stars which will come, because Polaris is one part. Maybe when it points to some other angle, maybe there is another star. Like say Thuban was another star. When it points another star, there may be another star pointing. So it's like different stars form pole star.
Okay, interesting.
Or if you like, if you're a Nakshatra person, I said 26,000 years, correct?
Yeah.
It can take 27,000 years for approximately. 26,000 is saying 27,000. And how many nakshatras? 27 nakshatras.
Correct.
27 divided 27. So 1 nakshatra, 1,000 years.
Wow. Okay. Roughly 960 years to be precise, but you can say it's roughly 1,000 years.
Correct. 960 years to be precise.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And tell me one more thing. This has always been, in terms of whenever we go to understanding nakshatras and dating some of our ancient work or some of our classics. There's mention that whenever the Rig Veda was written, the vernal equinox was happening in Magha Nakshatra. I mean, there are various scholars who talk about many of these things. Some of them believe it is Magha.
Correct.
Then when Atharva Veda was written, they say it was Kritika Nakshatra.
Okay. Yeah.
And just before Atharva Veda, where the mention of Kritika Nakshatra as the first nakshatra has been furnished, but some scholars also believe that before Atharva Veda, there was also Mragashira, which was used as the first nakshatra. And the importance of that is shown by calling it Agra Ayani.
Agra Ayani. Yeah.
Agra means first or chief or elder.
Yeah.
Ayana means the path of the sun. Ayana Amsha. That's what we say. Path of the sun.
Okay.
So it will be interesting that now, as per calculations now, we must be very much in the first pada of Uttara Bhadrapada. The vernal equinox happens. Is that correct? First pada.
Yes.
Moving slowly into Purva Bhadrapada, but not yet into Purva Bhadrapada.
Correct.
Okay. So can we, if you use this, and with 72 years, can we actually date and see how long before was our Rig Veda was written? When was Atharva Veda written? And all of that. So maybe that might be a huge way of understanding how old these texts are.
Exactly. Like if let us do this. Like you said, Rig Veda was in Magha. Magha Nakshatra is, of course, let us take first point of Magha. Of course, Magha is like let us do midpoint of Magha, like 6 degrees.
Sure. Okay.
So 126 degrees from the first point of Aries plus 24, because 24 degrees is Uttar Bhadrapada from
Correct.
So 126 plus 1 plus 24, which makes 150 degrees. So 150 degree shift. Now multiply 1 degree 72. So 150 times 72. If you do that, probably it's what, 15,705, around 10,000, 11,000 years from now. 11,000 years from now, maybe Rig Veda would have been written. If you say Magha,
Yes.
so Rig Veda is 11,000
Yes.
years from now. Now, if you say Mrigashira is also called Agrayan. In fact, yeah. In fact, I think even Hindu calendar and all, which we have Rashtriya calendar,
Yes.
Shake and all, Rashtriya calendar also, we write always January and all, but if you write a check and give it to the bank, that there was a professor who was like, really, he will write all this because this was established by the Indian government in the year 1954, I guess.
Right.
Agrahayan and all the Margashirsh month is called Agrahayana.
Yeah, correct.
So you can use that, and I think if you write that, and if the bank doesn't take that check, you can put a case on them
So
because
they can be prosecuted. Yeah.
it's a government rule. You can do that actually. But anyway, that's a different matter. But if you take Mrigashira, the Mrigashira will be because there are like 4 nakshatra. The first point of Mrigashira is 13 degree 20, 13 degree 20, 13 degree 20. So it's like 52, like around 52 plus 6, 58, say 60 degrees from the first point of Aries. 60 and plus 24. So you add 84 degrees basically for Mrigashira from today's first point of Aries. So 84 multiplied by 72.
You're taking end of Mrigashira?
Midway.
Midway. Okay, fine.
Midway I'm taking because so 60 degrees.
So midway would be 60 degrees plus 24, 84.
84. Correct, because Mrigashira half is in Taurus, half is in Gemini. I don't know whether we are doing this calculation, whether people will be able to understand, but it's like 84 degrees having shifted. So 84 multiplied by 72. So it's like 6,000 years. So about 6,000 years around that. So after 4,000 years. So yeah, you can date Rigveda, you can date Atharva Veda and all. Like Kritika, if you take the midpoint is say around 30 degrees plus 24, which is 54. 54 multiplied by 72, which is around 3,600 years. Around 3,600 or 4,000 years back. That was a time when vernal equinox was in Kritika.
Kritika Nakshatra, yeah.
And which is maybe just after Mahabharata, because Mahabharata, the war, I think that was 5,102 years from now. It was, I think some people have calculated, I don't know how much exact it is, but using all these mentions of planetary positions, they have come to a date and then they said, I've come across this. You see, it's a Bal Chandra book. I read this in 2001. So it's
Bal Gangadhar Tilak, is it?
No, it's Bal Chandra Rao, someone. Okay. I think it's a university press book where he explains about the timing of Mahabharata war, and he says that the Mahabharata war ended on the night of 17th and 18th February 3102 BC.
Wow, okay.
So he has come up with that calculations. So even we say 3,100 years plus 2,000 years, which is like around 5,100 years back, the period of Mahabharata was there. And there is also Ramayana dating and all, which there was one book which has come to like 7,000 years or from now, or 7,000 or 9,000 years from now, which is another 2,000-3,000 years before Mahabharata was Ramayana period. But of course, these are all things, because in Ramayana you have a lot of planetary positions. When Hanuman met Sita, the planetary positions have been given. When Ram married Sita, planetary positions are given. When Ram was born, planetary positions are given. So they could go back and try to see when all the planetary positions which was mentioned in the text is matching with the software, and that's how they come up with all these numbers. But yeah, I think we deviated a lot, but that's okay.
I think we deviated, but it's okay. It's interesting that we are talking about these.
But yeah, but it's a very important concept. The shift of vernal equinox can tell you so many things. We can do all those calculations. It's a deep subject in itself, and I think it's a beautiful, how things were, and it's nice to see, because on a cosmic, because it gives us time scale of around 26,000 years for a human being. If you consider all the events, if you record the position of vernal equinox, you can really calculate what happened in a 26,000 year cycle. Okay. So this is exactly, I draw that this is the x-axis as a time period, and I'm showing how does the declination of the sun changes. And I remember this was one of the project given to me when I was like way back in my maybe junior school or something. At that time I was interested, and I just took the position of sun, and based on time, how does the declination of the sun or the ecliptic changes. And here it is exactly, it shows it like March 21, it is a 0 degree declination because it is exactly on the celestial equator. And then it goes to June, it goes north, like it is going already from north from December 22nd, but it goes further north, reaches maximum on June 21. So it is the maximum declination. And then again, it Uttarayana, Dakshinayana starts. So it goes to south, declination decreases. And on September 23rd, the declination is 0. But still it goes further south. So that's why now imagine these 2 points. The starting year also it is in September 23, year also it's in September 23. That 2 point is connected because it's a circle. So it goes further south, and the declination goes further south. And on December 22nd is a maximum south, which is minus 23.5. And then again, Uttarayana will start, and then the northward movement will start. So this is the exact position of the declination varies in the whole 1 year period. And if I ask you what is the function look like, you can definitely say this looks like a sine curve, mathematical trigonometry function of sine. So that means if I know the right ascension of the ecliptic, using the trigonometry, I can find what is the declination. So these 2 coordinates, see, we have coordinates even when you as a child, you must have done mathematics and statistics, you would have drawn XY axis. XY here x-axis and y-axis here we have declination and right ascension, but declination is dependent on right ascension for ecliptic because ecliptic has certain pattern. That's why we could fit a function. So that's how I fit a function, because I can find ecliptic at each point, I can get the right ascension. Then how to calculate the declination, I used a sine function to calculate the declination of that point, because I need then 2 coordinates, correct, to find position of ecliptic. Instead of that, if you can give, because I had minimum information, I had only right ascension. So I was trying to see whether just using 1 coordinate, can I get the second coordinate? And as I know, and I did this as a child, I remember that it was a sine function. So I used a sine function to calculate the declination. So the only thing input I had was a right ascension of the point, and then I calculated declination using the sine function. So that was my first step. So in that way, I got 2 coordinates. Now I will talk about what was my Yogataras, which I considered. So these are the Yogataras, which I took for each nakshatra. For Ashwini, I took Hamal star. I would like to go through each one star because there are like many controversies here. So that's why I would like to go through each one of them and try to explain which Yogatara I have used. Ashwini, we know there are like 2 stars. One is Hamal, one is 35. I think one is Sheraton or something. I think Sheraton.
Yeah, that's correct. It's Sheraton and Hamal. And 35 and 41
for Burning.
Yeah, it's Burning. Yeah, correct. You're right. Yeah.
But I took Hamal because Hamal is the brighter among the 2. See, and Ashwini is lucky. Another interesting thing, Ashwini is not twins. And there are 2 stars. So it is very close by. And even if I take Sheraton, it was just, I think, 1 or 2 degrees difference. I saw that from the calculation. So it was not much different. So I took Hamal because that's the brightest star. For Burni, as we said, it's 35-41. There's one more star in Burni, but which is not that bright. But the brightest is 41 Ariatis, so I took 41 Ariatis. For Kritika, we know it's 7 sisters or 6 sisters, they always call 6 or 7 stars. Alcyon is the brightest star, so that's why I took Alcyon. Rohini, no doubt, Aldebaran. Mriga, as we discussed, I have taken Rigel as well as Orion Nebula, so both. Ardra, no doubt, Betelgeuse. Punarvasu, it is Gemini, the twins. So again, we have 2 stars. Now, which to take? Castor as well as Pollux. So I have taken both and try to see. Pushya, I've seen the constellation, and there are Beta and Delta Cancri. Some texts have used Delta Cancri a lot. Delta Cancri and Beta Cancri is the brightest star among that. So mostly I've stick to the brightest star. So I've taken, but Delta Cancri is also the next brightest star. So I've taken both. Ashlesha is again a group. It's a hydra. It's the Sheshnag basically constellation, and Ashlesha is only the face part of that Nag, and there are like 5-6 stars again. So first I took the center region of this 5-6 stars. Like in the last class which I was talking, I had this 5-6 average region of that. But I thought as I'm sticking to the brightest stars, get me the brightest star of Ashlesha, which was Epsilon Hydrae. And if you take the center of that whole 5-6 star center region of that, and if you take Epsilon Hydrae, no difference comes up. It's almost the same. Magha was no doubt, it was Regulus. Purva Falguni, there are 2 stars again, but as you said, it was Zosma. Zosma is also called as Delta Leonis. Delta Leonis is another name of Zosma. So I have taken Zosma because that is the brighter among the 2. Uttara Falguni, there I had no doubt because it's the tail region of Lion. There was only 1 star, so I had not a problem, which is Denebola. Hasta, there are 5 stars because it's Hasta, hand. So basically, if you see in the sky, there are like 5 stars pointing to the like exactly resembling 5 fingers. And Gamma Corvi is the brightest, so I took the Gamma Corvi. Chitra, no doubt, it was Spica. Swati, no doubt, it's a single star, Arcturus. Vishaka, again there were many stars, and I took the brighter, which was Delta Alpha Librae. Anuradha, there are 3 to 5 stars. Delta Scorpii is the brightest among them, so I took Delta Scorpii. Jeshta, I had no doubt it was Antares. Mula, now when it comes Mula, I took Galactic Center. Now people take different stars. Some people take Lambda, Sagittarius, I guess. Some people take the plane of the Earth axis, which cutting the ecliptic. But I feel the Mula, the energy, the word Mula is the root. So I feel root is like the center. So I should take Galactic Center. And these are like why to leave. So that's why understand the concept of Nakshatra, the theme of the Nakshatra, and then choose the object. So that's why I took Mula, which is Galactic Center. Purvashada, I took Cos Media, and I've seen many texts have used that. So no doubt. Uttarashada, again, Sigma Sagittarius. Shravana, Altern, it was like clear. Dhanishta, Delphinus is again 5-6 stars. Alpha Delphinus is the brightest, so that's how it took. Shatabisha, as I said, it's 100 stars. Gamma Aquarii, I've seen some people in the text which have used that. And Gamma Aquarii is again the brightest, so I thought maybe it's better to take that. Purva Bhadra, there are 2 stars again, because it's like the 2, funeral cot, the 2 front legs of the funeral cot, they say. See, Purva Falguni is like cot. Purva Bhadra is like funeral cot. It resembles something. Maybe I should talk about Nakshatra connection, which I had in mind, for the class. That time I will, but anyway, for this today I won't. But Purva Bhadra is the 2 legs of the funeral cot. So there are 2 stars again here. Markab I have taken because it's very brighter among the 2. Uttar Bhadra, again, both stars are almost same intensity, but that's why I took both. Gamma is the 2 legs of the funeral cot, but of the back legs. So again, so it's like exactly when we say funeral cot, it exactly resembles funeral cot, like 4 stars, 4 legs. Purva Bhadra forms the first front part of the leg, funeral cot, and the Uttar Bhadra forms the back legs of the funeral cot. So 2 stars. So Uttar Bhadra has got 2 stars, Gamma Pegasi and Alpha Andromedae, and Revati Zeta Piscium.
What is the other nakshatra for Purva Bhadrapada besides Markab? Which forms
Markab, and there is one more which I don't remember the name. Okay. It has some Pegasi. It has to be Pegasi, I guess. But Markab is
Alpha. Is it Alpha Pegasi?
I don't remember the name. See, Markab also would have got, Markab, Alsayo. Markab is definitely a name of, it's an Arabic name. See, many of the stars are basically Arabic names. So some people have used nomenclatures, like when I said Gamma Pegasi, Alpha Andromeda, these are like, Greek alphabets and the constellation. Markab is like an Arabic name. So some people have stick to that name. So, but all stars will have their own, like Epsilon Hydrae. Markab will be, as you said, maybe Alpha Pegasi, but I don't remember it on top of my head. I think, but I given a talk, I think few months back. So in that I have this list. Right now I'm not able to remember. and Revati is Zeta Pisya. So these are the stars, Yogataras, which I've taken for our nakshatras. Now I will talk methodology, what is the method which I used. So as I mentioned, I took the right ascension, then using the sine function, calculate its declination. Then I am using the distance formula to calculate the distance of that Yogatara from that point of ecliptic. It will be clear in the next slide when I show the schematic representation. And then I say at what point the minimum distance occurs. So let me talk here. So this is like, x-axis is your right ascension, let's say, y-axis is your declination. The red line is the ecliptic. Now we know that ecliptic is divided into 12 parts, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. So let's consider like this part is Aries, this part is Taurus, then this part is Gemini, and so on and so forth. Now imagine that there is an Yogatara here. Like let's say, because this is Taurus region, let's say it's a Rohini. Okay, the Rohini star is this point. It's sitting here. What I do is, I take a point on the ecliptic. I know its right ascension. Then using the sine function, I calculate his declination. So I know its right ascension and declination of this point on the ecliptic. I know the right ascension and declination of this star. Then I calculate its distance using the distance formula of mathematics. So I calculate the distance. Then I take another point in ecliptic. I repeat the same. I calculate the distance. Then I take another point. I take another point. So I take multiple points in this ecliptic. And I've taken points like 1 degree apart. 1 degree apart. So when you approach this point Q, what happens? The distance of this point of ecliptic from this Yogatara will start decreasing if you go from here to here. At one point, it will be minimum. If you cross that point, it will again start, the distance will start increasing. Like if you cross this point distance from that Yogatara will be increasing further and further. So first it will be decreasing. There will be some minimum, and then again it will start increasing. So I will find at what point of the ecliptic that minimum distance occurs. Once I get that point, I come to know, okay, this is the point where the ecliptic is closest to this Yogatara. And that's how I get that point. So this I have repeated for all the Yogataras in the ecliptic. Is it clear?
Yes, perfect. Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And after doing that, this is my result which I get. I think this is the final result. Like for Ashwini Yoga star, which I took Yogatara, which was Hamal, that minimum occurred at Aries 11 degree. For Bharni, it was Aries 21, 22 degrees, around that. And so on and so forth. At Kritika, it was Taurus 4 degree. For Rohini, it was Taurus 14 degree. For Mriga, as we told, I took for Orion Nebula as well as for Rigel. For Rigel, it was Taurus 20 degree. And for Orion Nebula, if you take, it was 28 degree of Taurus. Ardra was Gemini 5 degree. And Punarvasu was 2 stars, Pollux. Pollux came to be at Cancer 1 degree, and Gemini 28 degree was for Castor. Now, whenever I say all these Aries, it is a sidereal positions. So that is, I have taken that care because all the calculations which in the database is given according to tropical. So you have to convert everything into tropical, do all your calculations. Then whenever you want to give the result, you have to add that 24.1 degrees and then put it into sidereal. So these positions are all sidereal positions.
Yeah, I'm glad that you clarified that because I was going to ask this question. Are these calculations based on tropical or are they sidereal? So you've clarified that. So that's great.
Because this calculation has to be done in tropical because all this you can do in any part, but be sure that whatever you do, you maintain that and then properly convert into one system to other. So I have used tropical because everything is given. Because I took the positions of stars, the right ascension and declination, the coordinates of stars are always given in tropical. So I have to convert everything into tropical, do all my calculations, and when I give the results, convert everything into sidereal. So these are all the Yogatara points. Now, some people may have this question that there are like some cases, for example, Gemini 5 degree. Gemini 5 degree is basically falling in Mrigashira, because Mrigashira goes from Taurus, say Taurus, where Taurus 23 degree 20 minutes to Gemini 6 degree 40 minutes. So you will say that this is Gemini 5 degree, this is Mrigashira. So I just want to clarify that these are all Yogatara points, and it is possible that what we divided Nakshatra as 13 degree 20 minutes, it's our convenience. The Nakshatra span can be like a little bit longer or shorter. So that can be maybe a possibility of error there too. Moreover, even my method, as I said, correct, I took 1 degree. So the least count of my method is also 1 degree. So these numbers, these degrees which I have given, is also plus minus 1 degree error in that. So that's why I'm putting this slide saying that my error uncertainty can be plus minus 1 degree. So that is the point to be taken. So in some cases you will say that, for example, like Ardra, it is in the norm convention is that it is Mriga, but why we are putting the Yogatara in Ardra, Gemini 5 degree, but that is how it is. Like when you do this, the Yogatara, the ecliptic is closest at Gemini 5 degree or maybe 6 degrees. So it's like border again. So please don't get upset if you see this, or don't get confused, but that is how it is. Then
Aditya, okay, I think you're going to explain that. I wanted to ask you, what is the red color and what is the tick mark?
Correct. I'm going to talk about that. So then I said, okay, I got this. Then I thought to do an exercise which we were talking yesterday, Dr. Pai, about is that a Vargottama or Pushkara Bhaga or Navamsha. So I saw the yellow ticks which I have given, they are all Vargottama points. Like Taurus 14 degrees Vargottama. So, and that is where exactly Yogatara falls. So that is like a tick for me. Okay, this follows the Vargottama part, because I want to see whether the astrologers who have put this into Pushkara Bhaga or Vargottama or Navamsha, is there any link with these Yogatara points?
Basically, you're saying Pushkara Navamsha, isn't it? Pushkara Navamsha, Pushkara Bhaga, and Vargottama.
Yeah. So these yellow ticks are all Vargottama points. So Taurus 14 degree comes under Vargottama. So that's why I put a tick. Punarvasu, both are, this Pollux as well as Castor, both are Vargottama. So that's why 2 ticks. Both stars, actually, it was nice that both of them are there. I was glad that I did for both the stars. And also for Chitra, as well as Shatabisha and Revati. So these are all fall under Vargottama points.
And even Jeshta.
Jeshta is Scorpio 14. Okay, yeah, because here is our pictures come, so I'm not able to see. Okay, yeah, Jeshta too. Yes.
You can actually move around with your thing.
Yeah.
You can move around with the video that clip comes.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So, yeah. Also Jeshta, correct. Then I saw how many of them comes under Pushkara Bhaga. And I saw Bharni, Rohini and Purva Falguni, which are given in red. They are under Pushkara Bhaga too. Then I said, this box region shows these are the points which also comes under Pushkara Navamsha. So all these box regions are under Pushkara Navamsha. So we can see around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So around 12 of them comes under Pushkara Navamsha. So it's like 50% of the points are under Pushkara Navamsha. So 50% is like, okay, significant number, I will say. Half of them are already in Pushkara Navamsha. So somewhere, I will say, and even we have 12 Vargottama points, correct? We have 12 Vargottama
Correct.
points.
Yeah, correct.
Out of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, which is great.
Which is more than, so somewhere, I think this positions of Yogataras has been, I just did this today afternoon, so I didn't thought much about it, but I think makes sense. Like why they have placed this into Pushkara Navamsha and Vargottama. I won't say that not entirely, but most of the points are like, for example, Pushkara Navamsha and Vargottama points are like more than 50%. One is like 7 points out of 12, which is like around 60%. and Pushkara Navamsha is like 50% of the time they occur near Yogatara points.
Actually, Aditya, can you tell, for the benefit of some of our viewers, maybe who are watching this for the first time, and these are new terminologies, for some of the Westerners, can you explain a little bit what is a Vargottama, and what is Pushkara Bhaga and what is Pushkara Navamsha? Just for the interest of some viewers who might encounter these terminologies for the first time, because this is Vedic astrology.
Correct. Yeah, Vargottam is basically because, as we know, 27 nakshatras, and we are divided to 108 parts, and each 108 parts is like, again, we have said that Aries, Taurus and all. So if you take, for example, let us take Ashwini first pada. Ashwini nakshatra itself is in Aries constellation, and Ashwini first pada is basically coming in Ashwini Navamsha. So if any planet occupies position between 0 to 3 degree 20 minutes, that planet will be in D1, it will be in Aries. Even in D9, it will be in Aries. So the planet won't move. Planet will be Vargottama. It will be at the same sign. So Vargottama is that Navamsha which will have the same sign in D1 as in D9.
Yeah. So Varga means divisional charts. Uttama means it's in the same house. So as Aditya mentioned, if any planet which is falling, for example, the first example we took for all Chara Rashis, which is movable Rashis, the first Navamsha Pada, which is the first 3 degrees 20 minutes, if any planet is falling in first 3 degrees 20 minutes for all movable signs, then the planet will be in the same zodiac sign. Okay, in the 9th divisional chart, which is D9, Navamsha, we call it. But Vargottama can also be with respect to other divisional charts also. So if that planet is also falling in D10, which is the Samsha, if it is falling in the same, with respect to the D1 chart and the D10 chart, it is still Vargottama.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That's the real meaning of Vargottama. But generally, by default, we take it always Navamsha. But when you go deeper into classics, they also mention it could be any divisional chart if it is falling in the same. With respect to the D1, it is Vargottama, the planet. So in a D10, if it is falling in Aries, and if some planet is falling in Aries, then it is Vargottama with respect to D10 and D1. So in all significations of D10, that planet will have a very prominent influence on the native, if it is Vargottama. Okay, so I just thought I'll clarify that.
Yeah. I think Pushkara Bhaga, I think it is, I don't know definition why it is mentioned as Pushkara Bhaga for this, but it has given specific degrees of each Rashi have been assigned for Pushkara Bhaga. For example, Barney was given as, I know for Taurus it is 14 degree, for Leo it is 19 degree. So for different signs like fire signs, water signs, and Aries signs and earthy signs, they are given some specific degrees where they call it as Pushkara Bhaga. So that is, I don't know exact reason like why that degrees have been given as Pushkara Bhagas, but specific text.
Aditya, you're right. It is as per Jataka Parijat. There is an Indian Vedic classic called Jataka Parijat. If I vaguely remember, I think it is Adhyaya 1, Shloka number 58, where there are 12 points given. For every zodiac sign, there is one particular degree which has been specified in the Jataka Parijat that is supposed to be called as Pushkara Bhaga, which means any planet which falls in the Pushkara Bhaga, it enhances the qualities of that planet. Okay, and it's supposed to give, that's why it's called Bhaga, which means in that position. Pushkara means it blossoms. Pushkara means it is a lotus which blossoms. Okay, so that is the signification, and this is as per Jataka Parijat.
Correct. And then comes Pushkara Navamsha, which is again, I think that's also defined specific to the all nakshatras of Sun and Jupiter. I think the first pada of all, and fourth padas of all Sun and Jupiter nakshatras, I guess, that they are all Pushkara Navamshas. The second pada, all the second padas of I think which one? Moon nakshatras? Yeah, moon nakshatras.
See, the first pada and the fourth pada of all sun nakshatras, are Pushkara
Navamsha.
Pushkara Navamsha. And the second pada of all moon and Saturn nakshatras are Pushkara Navamshas. The third pada of all Venus nakshatras are Pushkara Navamsha. And then, if I recollect, it is Rahu, I think, is fourth pada of all Rahu nakshatras are Pushkara Navamsha.
How about Jupiter?
With Jupiter, yeah. Jupiter would be second and fourth of Jupiter.
Okay.
Yeah. No, not, yeah.
First and fourth, I don't know.
First and fourth, yeah. I think first and fourth. Yeah, first and fourth. I think you're right, yeah. So Sun and Jupiter nakshatras have two padas which are Pushkara Navamshas. You're right. Correct. And others all have one.
Yeah. So all first and four padas of Sun and Jupiter nakshatras.
Correct.
All are Pushkara Navamshas. All second padas of Moon and Saturn nakshatras are Pushkara Navamshas. All third padas of Venus nakshatras are Pushkara Navamshas. And all fourth padas of Rahu nakshatra are Pushkara Navamshas.
That's correct. And there is no Pushkara Navamsha for Ketu, Mars Ketu, and Mercury. Because if you look at the this one, 1, 5, 9. The first nakshatra, if you take Ketu, any Ketu nakshatra, if it is, say, let's say, take an example of Ashwini, is the first nakshatra. Then the fifth nakshatra is Mragashira, which is ruled by Mars in Vimshotri Dasha system. And then it is the ninth nakshatra, which is, as per Vimtoshari Dasha, it's Ashlesha, which is ruled by Mercury. So these three, 1, 5, 9 nakshatras have no Pushkara Navamshas.
And I think I should also point here, like, we see that there are, for Taurus, there are like 3 stars, Yogataras in that. Kritika, Rohini, and Mriga. Like there are 3 nakshatras, Yogataras in Taurus constellations. Similarly, there are Yogatara of Magha, Purva Falguni, and Uttara Falguni are Yogataras. And also for Sagittarius, Mula, Purvashada, and Uttarashada. These 3 nakshatras, Yogataras, falls in Sagittarius constellation. And we know Taurus is where your moon is exalting, and moon is having Mool Trikon. Leo is where Sun is having Mool Trikon. Sagittarius is where Jupiter is having Mool Trikon. So the Mool Trikona Rashis of Moon, Sun, and Jupiter have maximum number of Yogataras in it when compared to all other 9 Rashis.
Beautiful observation. Beautiful observation, Aditya.
So that was interesting. And there, again, there is another interesting fact that Swati have written no star. Now what happened, basically, Swati is way north of the ecliptic. That Arcturus star is way, way north. So basically, I was not able to get the minimum position for Swati. And if you say the theme of this nakshatra is basically it's a disperse like the wind. It exactly follows the theme of the nakshatra, Swati. It's a disperse like the wind, the Rahu. So, see, Rahu has all the nakshatras of Rahu. As we said, Ardra is at Gemini 5 degree. And if you see the sun, when sun transits at Gemini 5 degree, that is on June 21st, when we have summer solstice. That is when the sun is having the highest northernmost point. So the northernmost point in the whole zodiacal belt is at Ardra. And then the next nakshatra of Rahu, which is Swati, is way away from the ecliptic. And then we have Shatabisha, which has got 100 stars. So that's why all Rahu nakshatras are outcast, butcher class, correct? Outcast, butcher class. And even in astronomy, we see that all stars, they have a special position. It's like outcast. It's not like in the same path. It's somewhere something very different from normal. So that's another.
It's very interesting how our seers, ancient seers, thousands of years back, they have identified, these stars and these constellations, and they also, been able to judge the distance. Today we have most modern technologies, we have telescopes and all of these advanced I sometimes it baffles me, how these simple things seem to have they have known all of this without any modern equipments.
Oh, now more baffledness will come, I think, in coming slides. So, okay. Okay. So as I mentioned, I will just give a warning of error uncertainty. We can be plus minus 1 degree. So I feel this is my main analysis, main read of this talk is this is the thing. Now what I will do, I will apply some of the things now. Now, as I know all these Yogatara points. So what I did was I calculated when the sun transits these Yogatara points, because we don't know about other planets, but we know, if you know this Taurus 4 degrees or Aries 11 degrees, I exactly know the date when the sun transits. So the third column, this is all, first column is my Nakshatra column. This is my position, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, and what degrees here mentioned. And these are the dates when the sun transits this nakshatra. So if it is Aries 11 degree, I know the sun transits Aries 11 degrees on April 25th, and so on and so forth. It transits, say, if you want to say Taurus 4 degree, it transits on May 19th, so on and so forth. Similarly, I've calculated for all this. Now, if anyone's birthday falls on these dates, and of course, as the error uncertainty is plus minus 1 degree, that means plus minus 1 day, because sun transits 360 degrees in 365 days. So 1 degree per day. So if here it's like, if anyone's birthday falls in these dates or plus minus 1 or 2 days, plus minus these, just pay attention to what is their Atma Karaka. What is the Karak? Basically, the sun is a Karak of father. So how is their father's behavior? Whether they have got anything major or a strong theme of this nakshatra in their life plays, and just comment on it. That will be nice to see how things play. Because people born in on these dates will have sun on these exact points when the sun is closest to that particular Yogataras, and then they will have that nakshatra energy is prominent in their life. Now, I did some analysis to see what is that do we see here. So I was just looking, and then I saw that on Purva, it was December 27, Sagittarius 11 degrees Purvashara. Now remember the day, December 26, 2004, the tsunami. So it was at this position when the sun was transiting Purvashara. What is Purvashara? It's Apa, correct? Cosmic waters. And the tsunami is again related to water. So I could relate that event with this. So that was a nice observation. Then I saw Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Those events happened on August 6th and August 9th. Now, August 8th is when the sun transits Ashlesha. What is Ashlesha? Poisonous elements. And what is atomic bomb? Again, poisonous nature. So again, the events of Hiroshima and Nagasaki was very well matched with on August 8th.
And it's very interesting. I know it could be a coincidence as well, Aditya, that the rulers of Ashlesha Nakshatra are the Nagas, and the place where it was bombed is called Nagasaki. So
Nagasaki, yeah.
Nagasaki. So that is, it's sometimes these words and things could be very interesting. Another observation I had was it's very important to note that if you look at the Labor Day across the world, it is 1st of May. Correct. So you can see when sun is moving very close to the point of somewhere very close to where Saturn debilitates in Bharani Nakshatra is where we celebrate Labor's Day. Correct. Which is a day where everywhere everybody is off. So it's interesting when sun is moving through certain points, when it is going to hit certain points, that's when people have
Aries 20 degrees Saturn debilitates. So if it's Aries 21 is May 6th, Aries 20 will be May 5th. May 5th or May 4th plus minus 1. So makes sense.
It should have been somewhere around that, but we have fixed it as May 1st for universally we have said it's May 1st. But typically I think it should be around whenever sun is transiting exactly the point where Saturn debilitates, because Saturn is Karaka for laborers.
Correct. Exactly. If you say Mother's Day is what? Second Sunday of May. Second Sunday of May means anywhere, maybe 14th or something, around that part, 10th May. When it is Taurus 4 degrees, it's the moon exalts there.
Exactly. 3 degrees
For
it
Mother's
exalts.
Day.
Yeah, moon exalts there at around 3 degrees. So
Yeah.
yeah, these are,
Moon.
I think these are, yeah, you can really go deeper into this, and you will be able to understand, why certain events have been fixed for certain particular days. So it's beautiful, Aditya, that you're bringing this
I
up.
mean, in fact, Father's Day. It was just now we had Father's Day a few days back. It was
Correct.
third Sunday of June. Third Sunday is like around 21st of June, around that. It's
Correct.
Rudra again.
Rudra,
Rudra, father.
the
Maybe
fallen,
Rudra Shiva energy, maybe. Then
Shiva.
I thought Shiva. Then Grandparents' Day. I think I heard Grandparents' Day is first Sunday after the Labor Day or something. Labor Day here is like on 1st September around.
Mm.
In US. So September, so it's like Labor Day, and immediately after that, the next weekend. So it's like Labor Day, maybe 7 plus 7, 14th, around 13, 14. Grandparents' Day. So when it is Uttara Falguni, and we know the story of Dashyus and all, the Amavasu.
Yeah,
Uttara Falguni.
Amavasu and Aryaman is supposed to be the king of the ancestors, and Amavasu is again associated with Uttara Falguni.
So
Beautiful.
Grandparents' Day.
Correct.
So I was like, okay, I think we can go more and more. But and we can talk about U.S. presidential elections happening at Abhijit and
Abhijit Nakshatra, exactly. Is it the 20th or 21st of January?
21st Jan, when it is
21st.
exactly Abhijit.
Yeah, when it is exactly at Abhijit Nakshatra. That's when the coronation of the US president happens, which is again fascinating.
Uttarashada and yeah,
And Shravana and Uttarashada.
correct, between Shravana and Uttarashada, yeah. So yeah, we can. So that's why I said pay attention to these stars and when these dates and see what and comment on it, what they find in their life. But anyway, let us do application now. So finally, okay, we got these things. Then I said, okay, I did another exercise of like exaltation of planets. Now in the text, it is given that Sun exalts at Aries 10 degrees, Moon at Taurus 3 degree, Mars Capricorn 28. So in this red is what in the text which we have. Mercury exalts at Virgo 15 degree, Jupiter at Cancer 5, Venus at Pisces 27, Saturn at Libra 20. Now I saw, is there any connection with the Yogatara points? Ashwini Yogatara occurs at Aries 11 degree, which is very close to this 10 degree Aries. Kritika Yogatara is 4 degree, which is very close to the whatever the text has, Taurus 3 degree. Mars exalts at Capricorn 28 degree, and the Dhanishta Yogatara of Dhanishta is at Capricorn 26 degree. So again, Mercury exact, it falls on Virgo 15 degree, where Hastas Yogatara is. Cancer 5 degree. Punarvasu, it's like Gemini 28 degree and Cancer 1 degree. So it's like the brightest star is, I think, Castor, I guess, which is Cancer 1 degree. More like, so I will say Punarvasu is more like Cancer 1 degree type, which is exactly Cancer 5 degrees here. And again, so what I want to say is like all the exaltation points of planets occurs very, very close to Yogatara points. So this was very marvelous result because, of course, now as I said, plus minus 1 degree is the difference, so it can be possible. So it was nice to see that if it would have been just 1 or 2 planets, I would not have been that serious, but it fits for all the 7 planets.
This is stunning. Yeah, this is stunning and fascinating. Yeah, absolutely stunning.
And then it was, I think, when I was talking to Vic Dikaraji, he sent me some other texts of Yavana Jatak, where it is said that Sun may be exalting at 19 or 20 degrees, 19 degrees of Aries. But even if you take 19 degrees of Aries, what you see, it's very close to Bharni Yogatara, where exactly Saturn debilitates. And other points were all same, except for Sun and Jupiter. And in that text, it was mentioned that Jupiter exalts at Cancer 15 degree. Now, if you take even 15 degree of Cancer, it's very close to Pushya Yogatara.
Pushya, and that makes sense because Brahaspati is the lord of, yeah, absolutely.
So whatever, I think you take Yavana Jataka, you take Indian astrology, whatever the exaltation points of planets are always matched with the Yogatara points. That is my main conclusion.
Beautiful. I think this is really, I think our ancients knew about this. Today we have not known and we have just blindly been using it. But I think after this discussion that we have had today, I think it'll open up many doors of people understanding what is the importance of Yogataras, and
Correct.
having planets very close to these Yogataras can give you, irrespective of whatever the planet is, they can actually
Correct.
enhance the qualities of those
Of the planet.
planets.
Yes.
Great. But
Then
what
the
about
question was
Rahu
Rahu
and
and
Ketu?
Ketu. Okay, Rahu and Ketu exaltation, we have always a debate. Some say Taurus, some say Gemini. And I've seen text where it is mentioned Taurus 20 degrees. I've seen that. And Taurus 20 degrees is where our Yogatara of Mrigashira, because when you take Rigel, it is Taurus 20 degree. When you take Orion Nebula, it is Taurus 29 degree. And if people are instant Gemini, then Ardra Yogatara is Gemini 5 degree. So you see this 5 degree and 29 degree is very close to the junction of Taurus and Gemini. That's why I think we are confused. Some people want to take a Taurus, some people want to take as Gemini. So it was like, so special, definitely these are the points where it will exalt 20 degree, or it has to exalt at 29 degree, or it has to exalt at 5 degree. These are the 3 points where it will exalt. But the thing is where it exalts actually. Okay, we know now the point where it exalts, but where it exactly exalts. So what did I do is I took Ketu. Okay, I said, okay, I'm not getting answer for Rahu. Rahu is always confusion. Then you go to Ketu for help. And Ketu gave some interesting results. Ketu also, as we debate, it falls in Scorpio and Sagittarius. So I took all the Yogatara points in this region of Scorpio, Sagittarius. So it's Scorpio 14 degree, Mula Sagittarius 3 degree, and Purvashara 11 degree. Now, out of this, Scorpio 14, Mula Sagittarius, Purvashara, and Taurus 20, 29, and Gemini 5, I could correlate this Mula and Gemini as very close, exact opposite. We know Rahu is exactly opposite to Ketu, 180 degree apart. And Ardra, Gemini 5 degree and Mula 3 degrees, almost again exactly opposite. And as I said, it's plus minus 1 degree different. So there is a 1 degree different. So probably I feel that Ardra, Gemini 5 degree may be the exaltation point, and Mula 3 degrees may be the exaltation point for Ketu. And remember, Ardra 5 degree Gemini is extreme north. When the summer solstice happens, when sun transits Ardra, it's the summer solstice at exactly at 5 degrees. And when the sun transits around the same Sagittarius 3 degree or 5 degree, it's where winter solstice is. So these two dates really match. So Ardra is the northernmost point in ecliptic, Mula is the southernmost point in ecliptic. Ardra is Shiva, Mula is Nritya or Kali. So it's like Shiva Shakti energy. And that's why Rahu, maybe that's why I would like to take Rahu exaltation as Gemini 5 degree, Ketu exaltation and 3 degree. And also note, Ardra is the Rashi Nakshatra for Rahu, and Mula is a Nakshatra for Ketu. So all themes fit well with the Ardra and Mula Nakshatra. So I feel that maybe...
Yeah, this is fascinating because we had the sun transiting this point of 5 degrees just 3 days ago.
Yeah,
we're doing this video on the...
Today is Ardra Nakshatra, in fact.
It's 8. Today is Ardra Nakshatra. It's at 8 degrees,
Correct.
And 3 days ago, the sun would have been transiting this point of where the exaltation of Rahu is. So it will be interesting to see for people to study what happened on the, roughly around the 21st or 22nd with respect to any worldwide government institutions, because our government or people in power or because this is where, sun is, power, authority is government. It was going to a point where, Rahu gets exalted. So it can give you some clues.
Exactly.
And another thing that I want to also mention, Aditya, is there is a classic called Gopal Ratnakar. And Gopal Ratnakar has mentioned a different, different to Parashar. What Gopal Ratnakar says is the exaltation, of Rahu and Ketu is Gemini. It's Rahu gets exalted in Gemini, and Ketu gets exalted in Sagittarius. This is mentioned. Secondly, what Gopal Ratnakar says is Rahu's own house is Taurus, and Ketu's own house is Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's very interesting because when you see even Ketu here, it is Scorpio 14 degrees, And then you see there also you have 2 points in Taurus for Rahu, isn't it? We have 29 degrees and you have 20 degrees. So he says, Gopal Ratnakar says that the own house of these nodes are Taurus and Scorpio.
But I have heard Rahu own house is also Aquarius, correct?
That is another theme that is there. They say it is own houses because of the saying that, Kuja with Ketu, Rahu with Shani with Rahu, which means, Rahu is very much similar to Shani or Saturn, and Ketu is very much similar to Kuja, which is Mars, right? So that is, but this Gopal Ratnakar says the Moola Trikona of these nodes are, the Moola Trikona of Rahu is Leo, and the Moola Trikona of Ketu is Aquarius.
Oh, okay.
So very different from some of the other classics that they mentioned, and this is very unique. And this kind of adds up to what your discussion here is with these Yogataras, where you're putting 2 points in Taurus for Rahu, and in Gemini being the 5th and 3rd degree, I think 3 degrees of Sagittarius and 5 degrees of Gemini. It makes sense to me being the exaltation point. So I'm very much, convinced about this logic. Again, people have other interpretations.
One should also see what happens to, like Rahu, when we say it's kind of Shatabhisha. So Rahu does something very different in its own nakshatra, Adra. What happens? Shatabhisha is also ruled by Rahu. So Rahu at Aquarius 14 degrees may be something interesting. Maybe what results we get, because it is very close to its Yogatara point of Shatabhisha. So if someone has got Rahu at Aquarius 14 degree, events relating to Rahu, that will be nice. Actually, I don't have Rahu at Aquarius 14 degree, but it will be nice to, if people could comment on that too. So that's interesting. And this star Swati is another Rahu, which is like, so Rahu is weird. Rahu is, we all know. So I think with that, I want to say this role of nakshatras in the use of astrology, because see, how I could do all this result studies is only by understanding nakshatra themes, energies of nakshatras, and so on and so forth. So I feel having a good knowledge of nakshatra is really essential to understand some of the key astrological concepts, and that's why I will encourage everyone to study about nakshatras, the nakshatra lords, their energies, which can maybe a good solid foundation for your astrological studies in future. And all the KP astrology is based on nakshatras, entirely based on nakshatras. So there he talks about divisions of nakshatras and all. So I think, see, the thing is, you divide the whole region into 12 parts, you can predict, but when you divide into 27 parts, you can get fine predictions. When you divide into 108 parts, then you're dividing the entire thing into, you're going finer and finer. Of course, the complexity increases, but the more divisions you go, the more complexity increases, but the better the predictions will happen. So it's always a balance between the number of divisions, the complexities, with also how much precise you want. So you have to balance with that and then probably deal with it. So that's why I feel nakshatras and understanding the qualities of nakshatras is, I think, one of the key role in understanding or having a solid foundation in astrology, understanding astrological concepts. So with that, I think I have concluded my presentation, and I hope it gave some insights to Yogataras and nakshatras.
I think this is by far one of the best lessons or classes that I've come across, in recent times. Because here, what we have done today, and I recollect I did a video a few months ago, I think about a year ago, on Eka Yogataras. Eka Yogataras means one single planet taras, because there were certain nakshatras. When you look at those nakshatras, they had only one constellation. In the constellation, they had taken only one nakshatra. And there were only 3 of those such nakshatras or lunar mansions. One was Ardra, which had only 1 star in it, okay, which was Betelgeuse. Then we had, Chitra, which is Spica or Spica.
Correct.
And then we had Swati, which is Arcturus. So I've done some, and there is the video is already there on my.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was a bad connection. Can you
there was some connection problem. Yeah.
So
I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I think that's something that I wanted to point out. That saying that these Yogataras have to be studied in more detail. And this presentation and discussion today, I think, is going to help a lot of people understand the basis of astrology, because people think this is a pseudoscience, but with astronomical inputs that you are bringing in and how this dovetails beautifully into the Vedic concepts is something that baffles me. And I think this discussion also, when you did this research and we discussed about this before, I think I was also shocked to see how beautifully these. Sorry, I think
the signal is again coming and going. So
anyway, so let's finish this. I think that's an indication from the cosmos.
Yes.
But thank you very much, Dr. Togi. This was excellent. Excellent. So we'll bring you back again for another session on Yogataras and also discuss about the body parts and how to actually see some of those key things. But thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Pai. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.